Life has a way of testing you, not through the big, dramatic moments, but through the small, everyday choices. 3 things, if you learn to control them, will change your life completely: your mouth, your mood, and your money. Your mouth. Words are powerful. Once spoken, they cannot be taken back. They can build trust or destroy it. They can inspire or wound. Too many people talk without thinking, reacting to emotions in the moment, leaving a trail of damage behind. But the strong, the truly disciplined, pause. They choose their words carefully. They understand that silence is often more powerful than speech. Control your mouth and you control the narrative of your life. Your mood. Life won't always give you what you want. People will disappoint you. Obstacles will come. If you let every inconvenience dictate your emotions, you'll live like a puppet, controlled by circumstances. Strength is not in never feeling anger, sadness, or frustration. It's in mastering those feelings. When you control your mood, you stop being reactive and start being strategic. You no longer give away your power to the world. Your money. Money is not everything, but it is a tool, and how you manage it reveals your discipline. Some spend recklessly to impress others, while the wise invest in themselves, their growth, their future. Control your money, and you create freedom. Lose control of it, and you become a prisoner to debt, to desperation, to other people's approval. Mouth, mood, money. 3 areas that determine whether you live in chaos or in control. Discipline is freedom. Master these, and you master yourself. When it comes to building a strong and powerful life, one of the greatest tools you have at your disposal is your mouth. Every word you speak is either a seed you plant or a weapon you unleash. Most people don't realize just how much damage careless words can do. One sentence spoken in anger can ruin a relationship forever. One thoughtless comment in a meeting can cost you an opportunity you've been working years for. A single slip of the tongue can shatter trust that took a lifetime to build. That is why controlling your mouth is not just about being polite. It is about being disciplined, intentional, and wise with the most powerful instrument you have, your voice. The problem is that many people confuse speaking with power. They think the more they say, the stronger they appear. They believe dominating a conversation, interrupting others, or filling silence with noise makes them look confident. But the opposite is true. Those who lack control over their mouths often reveal insecurity, impulsiveness, and weakness. The strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who know when to speak and when to stay silent. They understand that silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It gives them time to observe, to think, and to choose their words with precision. Think about it. How often have you regretted something you said in the heat of the moment? Maybe you snapped at someone out of frustration, only to realize later you were wrong. Maybe you tried to win an argument with harsh words, but instead you lost respect. Once words leave your mouth, you cannot pull them back. You cannot erase them from someone's memory. Apologies may soften the wound, but the scar remains. This is why control matters. Discipline with your words means you protect your reputation, your relationships, and your opportunities. Controlling your mouth is also about understanding the weight words carry. Words can motivate, inspire, and heal. They can encourage someone to keep going when they want to give up. They can ignite confidence in someone who doubts themselves. They can open doors that money and status cannot. But words can also do the opposite. They can cut deeply, discourage, humiliate, and close doors forever. The choice is yours. Every time you open your mouth, you are either building or breaking. You are either creating respect or losing it. One of the greatest marks of emotional intelligence is the ability to think before speaking. Most people don't. They speak as a reaction, not as a response. They let their emotions dictate their mouths. If they're angry, they lash out. If they're insecure, they gossip. If they're jealous, they throw shade. But disciplined people pause. They ask themselves, is what I'm about to say necessary? Is it kind? Is it true? Will it help? Or will it hurt? That pause creates power. That pause gives you control when everyone else is reckless. In professional life, controlling your mouth can determine whether you advance or get left behind. People don't want to work with someone who can't manage their words. If you're constantly complaining, gossiping, or interrupting, you show you lack discipline and respect. On the other hand, when you speak with clarity, respect, and purpose, people listen, you gain influence. Your words carry weight because you don't waste them. Leaders are not remembered for how much they talked, but for how effectively they communicated. Even in personal relationships, control over your mouth is everything. Arguments between partners, family members, or friends often spiral not because of the issue itself, but because of the words exchanged during heated moments. Anger fades, but words linger. Saying, "I didn't mean it," doesn't erase the pain caused by cruel remarks. The most loving relationships crumble when the mouth is out of control. On the flip side, when you use your words to encourage, affirm, and uplift, you create unshakable bonds built on trust and respect. Another key to mastering your mouth is learning the art of restraint. Not every thought deserves to be spoken. Not every secret you hear should be shared. Not every insult thrown your way requires a response. Weak people feel the need to respond to everything. Strong people don't. They know that silence is often more powerful than defending themselves. They know that revealing less keeps them mysterious, respected, and in control. When you say less, you force others to lean in, to listen carefully, to value what you do share. There's also a financial dimension to controlling your mouth. Countless opportunities are lost because people speak without discipline. Think of job interviews. Sometimes candidates talk themselves out of the position by rambling, oversharing, or saying something careless. Think of negotiations. Many people lose deals because they reveal too much, fold too quickly, or let emotions leak into their words. The smartest negotiators know when to stop talking. They know the value of silence in building leverage. Another powerful habit is to choose words that align with the person you want to be, not just the person you are in the moment. If you see yourself as strong, confident, and wise, your words must reflect that. Avoid gossip. Avoid negativity. Avoid talking down about others or about yourself. Speak with clarity and conviction. People will judge you by the words you use. If your mouth is reckless, they will assume your mind is reckless too. If your words are sharp, intentional, and disciplined, people will trust your judgment, respect your presence, and seek your leadership. Ultimately, controlling your mouth is about respect. Respect for yourself and for others. It's about recognizing that what comes out of your mouth shapes the way people perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. It's about realizing that your words are not just sounds in the air. They are actions, they are energy, they are weapons or tools, depending on how you use them. If you want to be taken seriously, if you want to be respected, if you want to build instead of destroy, then master your mouth. Because the one who controls their words controls their world. Your mood is one of the greatest indicators of how much power you hold over yourself. Every day you wake up, life will test you. Someone will cut you off in traffic. A co-worker will make a careless remark. A family member might say something that stings. Life is full of triggers, and if you let every single one dictate how you feel, then you are not in control. Everything else is. The truth is, most people walk through life like emotional puppets. They get pulled left and right by whatever situation unfolds in front of them. They feel happy only if everything goes right, angry when something doesn't go their way, and defeated when life gets hard. That is not strength. That is weakness. Real strength comes when you learn to regulate your mood regardless of what the world throws at you. Think about the most respected people you've seen in high-pressure environments. They don't break down when things get tough. They don't scream when they're challenged. They don't collapse emotionally when they face setbacks. They stay calm. They think clearly. They respond strategically instead of reacting impulsively. This is what makes them stand out. Emotional discipline is what separates leaders from followers. Anybody can get angry. Anybody can lose control. But to stay composed when your emotions want to explode, that is rare power. The danger of letting your mood control you is that it makes you predictable and weak. If someone knows they can push your buttons, they will use that against you. Imagine an opponent who knows that one insult can make you lose focus. They will throw it at you every time. But when you show that you cannot be rattled, When people realize nothing they do can shake your calm, you become untouchable. Your mood becomes your shield, protecting you from manipulation. This doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you don't let emotions dictate your behavior. You master them instead of letting them master you. One of the most destructive habits is reacting immediately to anger. How many fights, arguments, or even violent incidents could have been avoided if someone had taken a moment to breathe before responding? People often regret words said in anger, decisions made in frustration, or actions taken in a bad mood. That's because acting from emotion clouds judgment. It makes you impulsive. It makes you sloppy. It makes you say and do things you would never choose if you had taken just a little time to calm down. By controlling your mood, you gain the ability to act from logic, not just raw emotion. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, things will go wrong. But your mood is always within your control. You cannot control traffic, but you can control whether you let it ruin your morning. You cannot control how people treat you, but you can control whether you let their words dictate your peace. You cannot control every challenge, but you can control how you show up to face it. That is the difference between people who are constantly stressed and drained and those who move through life with strength and grace. Another truth is that your mood affects more than just you. It affects everyone around you. When you let anger or negativity control you, it spreads. Your energy influences others whether you realize it or not. Leaders who panic create panic in their teams. Parents who lash out create tension in their homes. Partners who sulk or snap poison their relationships. On the other hand, when you carry calmness, strength, and positivity, you lift the people around you. You set the tone. You become the steady rock that others rely on. Controlling your mood is not just about personal power. It is about influence. There are strategies you can use to master your emotions. One of them is awareness. Notice what triggers you. Pay attention to the people or situations that stir up anger, sadness, or frustration. Once you recognize your triggers, you gain an edge. Instead of being blindsided, you can prepare. You can tell yourself, this situation usually makes me angry, but I will not let it control me this time. Another strategy is detachment. Learn to step back before reacting. Take a breath, count to 5, or walk away for a moment. That pause creates space between emotion and action. In that space, you regain control. Reframing is another powerful tool. Instead of seeing obstacles as personal attacks, view them as tests of your strength. Instead of seeing someone's rude comment as an insult, see it as a reflection of their character, not yours. By changing the way you interpret situations, you shift your mood instantly. Perspective is power. What defeats one person can empower another, depending on how they choose to frame it. Another truth about controlling your mood is that it builds resilience. Every time you face difficulty without losing control, you grow stronger. You train your mind to stay steady under pressure. Over time, things that once would have sent you into anger or despair will no longer faze you. You'll notice yourself becoming more centered, more calm, more grounded. This doesn't mean you don't feel deeply. It means you've become the master of your feelings instead of the victim of them. Consider how much more effective you become when you are calm. In business, it allows you to negotiate with clarity. In conflict, it allows you to respond with wisdom instead of regret. In relationships, it allows you to maintain peace instead of fueling chaos. Controlling your mood creates an environment where respect grows, where trust builds, where opportunities open. People gravitate toward those who radiate calm strength because they feel safe in that presence. At the end of the day, mood control is self-control. It's about refusing to give the world, or other people, the keys to your inner state. It's about saying, no matter what happens outside of me, I decide how I feel inside of me. That is the ultimate form of power, because when you master your mood, you don't just survive life's challenges, you rise above them. Money is one of the most misunderstood forces in life. Some people worship it, others waste it, and many fear it. But the truth is, money itself is not the enemy or the savior. It is neutral. It is a tool, and like any tool, its value depends on how you use it. The way you manage money says a lot about who you are. It reflects your discipline, your foresight, and your respect for yourself. When you control your money, you create freedom and opportunities. When money controls you, you live in stress, desperation, and dependence. Most people live with no control over their money. They spend to impress others, to numb pain, or to chase fleeting happiness. They buy things they don't need with money. They don't have to impress people who don't care. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they live paycheck to paycheck, why they cannot break free. The truth is, lack of financial discipline traps you. It becomes a cycle of debt, regret, and insecurity. On the other hand, when you master your money, even if you don't have much, you create security. You give yourself options. You give yourself freedom. Money is not about greed, it is about independence. When you control your money, you are not forced to stay in a toxic job or a toxic relationship out of financial fear. You are not living at the mercy of others. You can walk away when something doesn't serve you because you are not desperate. That is true freedom. And freedom is impossible without financial discipline. Control begins with mindset. You have to shift from seeing money as something to spend to seeing it as something to grow. Every dollar you spend is either working for you or against you. If you constantly spend on impulse, on trends, on shallow validation, your money vanishes without giving you anything back. But if you invest wisely, whether it's in learning, in skills, in assets, or in building something that multiplies, you turn your money into a servant instead of becoming its slave. One of the biggest traps people fall into is instant gratification. They feel stressed, so they spend. They want to look successful, so they buy designer brands they can't afford. They want to feel good now, so they sacrifice their future. This is not freedom. It's weakness disguised as comfort. Strong people think long-term. They understand that money is about leverage, not appearance. They know that the goal is not to look rich, but to be secure. Another danger of poor money control is dependency. If you don't know how to handle money, you will always depend on someone else to bail you out, whether it's family, friends, or employers. That dependency robs you of confidence and dignity. But when you can manage your own finances, no matter how small, you build self-respect. You stand taller because you know you are capable of taking care of yourself. Controlling your money is not just about saving, it's about prioritizing. Ask yourself, where is my money going? Does it align with my goals? Does it help me grow? Or does it hold me back? Too many people waste money on temporary pleasure instead of permanent progress. They spend more on nights out than on books, courses, or investments that could change their lives. They invest in looking good instead of becoming good. But those who win long-term understand that money should work like a soldier. You send it out to fight for you, to bring back more, to build your empire, not to vanish in smoke. Another layer to money control is understanding the connection between emotions and spending. People often spend when they're sad, when they're bored, or when they're trying to fill a void. But money cannot fill emotional emptiness. It cannot buy true self-worth. That's why discipline is so important. Instead of letting emotions drain your wallet, you need to separate feelings from finances. Ask yourself, am I buying this because I truly need it, or because I am trying to escape something inside me? That one question can save you from years of regret. Financial control also requires humility. Many people destroy themselves financially because of pride. They want to appear successful before they actually are. They want to prove something to people who don't matter. That pride pushes them into debt, into reckless spending, into living above their means. But the wise are not concerned with appearances. They know that real wealth whispers, it doesn't scream. They don't need to flash every purchase because their security speaks louder than any brand ever could. One of the most empowering things about controlling your money is the peace it brings. Imagine not lying awake at night worried about bills. Imagine not panicking when unexpected expenses arise. Imagine knowing that even if everything around you collapsed, you'd still be okay because you built wisely. That peace of mind is worth more than anything you could buy on impulse. It's a confidence that comes only from discipline. Another truth is that controlling your money creates opportunities. When you are financially disciplined, you can take risks others can't. You can invest in yourself. You can walk away from toxic environments. You can say yes to opportunities because you are not shackled by desperation. That flexibility is power. It gives you the ability to live on your terms instead of being trapped by circumstances. At its core, money is about responsibility. It's about how well you steward what you are given. Even if you have little, if you manage it wisely, more will come. If you waste it, more will only make you worse. Self-mastery shows up in how you treat your finances. Are you reckless, careless, and impulsive? Or are you disciplined, intentional, and wise? The way you handle money today determines the kind of life you will have tomorrow. Control your money, and you gain more than wealth. You gain freedom, dignity, and strength. You are no longer owned by your circumstances, by other people, or by the fear of lack. You own your choices. You own your future. And in a world where most people are enslaved by financial stress, the one who masters money is the one who is truly free. Mouth, mood, and money might seem like three separate areas of life, but the truth is they are deeply connected. Each one influences the other, and if you lose control of one, it often drags the others down with it. Self-mastery is not about picking one area to focus on. It's about understanding the web they form together. You cannot be careless with your mouth and expect your money to thrive. You cannot let your mood run wild and expect your relationships and opportunities to stay intact. You cannot spend recklessly and expect your mood and peace of mind to remain steady. These three are like pillars holding up your life. If one falls, the structure becomes unstable. Consider how your mouth impacts your money. A careless word in the workplace can end a career opportunity. Saying the wrong thing to the wrong person can close doors that may never open again. Gossip, impulsive speech, or disrespectful words can cost you trust, and trust is currency in every environment. Employers, clients, and partners invest in people they can rely on, and reliability includes the discipline to communicate with respect and control. On the other hand, those who speak wisely, who know when to pause and when to voice their thoughts with clarity, often find themselves attracting opportunities and respect. Their words create value, and that value often translates into financial reward. Now look at the connection between your mood and your mouth. How often do people say things they later regret because they couldn't control their emotions? Anger fuels sharp words, sadness fuels complaints, jealousy fuels criticism. When your mood controls you, your mouth becomes its weapon, and once words are released, they cannot be taken back. A bad mood at work can cause you to snap at a colleague or dismiss a suggestion, and that moment of weakness can linger in people's minds. A bad mood at home can make you say something cruel to a loved one, and even if you apologize, the damage remains. By mastering your mood, you protect your mouth from becoming reckless, and by controlling your mouth, you stop your mood from creating unnecessary problems. Money, too, is closely tied to mood. Many people use spending as an emotional crutch. When they feel low, they shop. When they feel stressed, they splurge. But temporary emotional relief often becomes long-term financial pain. Debt, regret, and financial instability create even worse moods, and the cycle continues. The inability to manage emotions leads to poor financial decisions, and poor financial health leads to more emotional stress. The connection is clear. If you do not master your mood, you will struggle to master your money. Discipline in one fuels discipline in the other. There's also the link between mouth and mood when it comes to money. Imagine someone in a heated negotiation. If they lose their composure, their words give away desperation, and that costs them financially. If their mood makes them impatient, they talk too much, revealing information that weakens their position. In contrast, someone calm and measured speaks less but with intention. They do not let mood dictate mouth, and that discipline protects their money. This is why the strongest negotiators and leaders often appear calm and reserved. They know the connection between words, emotions, and outcomes. Another way these three tie together is in reputation. People watch not just what you say, but how you say it. They observe not just what you spend, but how you spend it. They notice whether you keep your composure or whether you lose it easily. Your reputation is built from the consistency of your mouth, mood, and money. If you are careless with one, people assume you are careless with all. For example, someone who speaks recklessly is often assumed to be financially reckless as well. Someone who cannot control their emotions is often assumed to be unreliable in business. But when people see discipline in all three areas, they associate you with strength, wisdom, and reliability. That reputation is priceless. Think about the downfall of many people we admire from afar. Athletes, celebrities, leaders, many have lost everything not because they lacked talent or resources, but because they failed to control one of these three areas. A public outburst destroyed their reputation. A bad financial decision ruined their stability. A moment of emotional weakness cost them everything they worked for. It is rarely external forces that bring people down. More often, it is internal lack of discipline with their mouth, mood, or money. On the flip side, history remembers those who mastered all three. Leaders who held their tongue in moments of pressure. Thinkers who remained calm in the face of chaos. Entrepreneurs who respected money, not for status but for freedom. Their lives became examples of how discipline in these areas builds unshakable foundations. They understood the holistic nature of mastery. They knew that neglect in one area would eventually poison the others. What makes these three so powerful together is that they cover every dimension of life: your inner state, your external expression, and your material reality. Your mood governs how you feel inside. Your mouth governs how you express yourself to the world. Your money governs the choices and opportunities you can act upon. Mastering all three means you live aligned. You think clearly, speak intentionally, and act wisely. You become unshakable because there are no weak links for life to exploit. This is why self-mastery is not about perfection in one area while ignoring the others. You could be financially disciplined, but emotionally reckless, and your life would still collapse. You could be calm in your mood, but careless with your words, and doors would still close on you. You could be measured in speech, but reckless with your money, and stress would still consume you. It is the integration of all three that creates real power. The true test of strength is not how you perform when things are easy, but how you manage yourself when things are difficult. When stress hits, do you lash out or stay composed? When emotions surge, do you let them dictate your words or do you pause and respond wisely? When money flows in, do you waste it to feed your ego or do you manage it to secure your freedom? Each test is interconnected, and each one proves whether you are the master of your life or the servant of your impulses. The connection between mouth, mood, and money is simple but profound. They are reflections of your discipline. They reveal whether you act with intention or reaction. They reveal whether you live in control or in chaos. And the one who learns to control all three doesn't just survive in this world. They thrive because they move with power, clarity, and freedom that few ever achieve. Freedom is something everyone talks about, but very few truly experience. People say they want to live life on their terms, to be unshaken by others, to have the space to pursue what matters. Yet most are trapped, not by external forces, but by their lack of control over themselves. Real freedom does not come from wealth alone, from status, or from luck. It comes from mastery. The more you master yourself, the freer you become. When you control your mouth, you control your influence. When you control your mood, you control your peace. When you control your money, you control your independence. Put together, these forms of mastery build a life that cannot easily be shaken. Think about your mouth. The freedom of influence comes when people know that your words carry weight. When you have the discipline to stay silent until you have something meaningful to say, you are respected. You are trusted. You are not the person who creates chaos with gossip or careless remarks. You are the one who inspires, who calms, who guides. That kind of influence is freedom because it opens doors without you even having to push. It earns you opportunities without you begging for them. People lean in when you speak because they know you do not waste your words. This is what mastery of your mouth provides: the freedom to shape the world around you with influence rather than noise. Now think about mood. How often do people sabotage their own peace because they let every challenge control their emotions? A rude comment ruins their day. A delay frustrates them. A rejection breaks them. If your peace depends on perfect circumstances, you will never be free. But when you learn to master your mood, you stop being a victim of the world. You can walk through storms with calmness. You can endure setbacks without breaking. You can face disrespect without losing your dignity. This is freedom. The freedom to feel deeply but still remain steady. The freedom to choose your response instead of being dragged around by impulses. When your mood is under your command, you own your inner world. No one can take that from you. Then there is money. For many people, money is their greatest prison. They stay in jobs they hate, in relationships that suffocate them, in situations that drain them, all because of financial fear. They do not control money. Money controls them. But when you learn discipline, when you live within your means, when you invest wisely, money transforms from a master into a servant. It gives you choices. It allows you to walk away from toxicity. It lets you invest in yourself and build your future. That independence is one of the purest forms of freedom, because true freedom is not just the ability to do what you want. It is the ability to say no to what you don't want. And that becomes possible only when you control your money instead of being enslaved by it. What makes mastery so powerful is that it removes fear. People fear speaking up because they don't trust themselves to say the right thing. They fear challenges because they don't trust themselves to handle their emotions. They fear risk because they don't trust themselves to manage money. But when you know you are disciplined in your words, your emotions, and your finances, fear loses its grip. You trust yourself. You know you can handle whatever comes. That confidence is the essence of freedom. Mastery also creates stability. Without it, life feels chaotic. A careless word sparks conflict. A reckless mood causes regret. A foolish financial decision brings stress. You are constantly putting out fires of your own making. But when you live with mastery, you prevent those fires before they start. You move with intention. You build rather than destroy. Your relationships are healthier because your mouth builds trust. Your days are calmer because your mood is steady. Your future is secure because your money is managed. That stability frees you to focus on growth instead of constantly repairing damage. Another truth is that mastery earns respect, and respect is its own form of freedom. When people know you are disciplined, they treat you differently. They don't test you with drama because they know you won't bite. They don't waste your time with nonsense because they know you value it. They don't doubt your ability because your track record speaks for itself. Respect protects you. It gives you space. It builds opportunities. And it only comes when people see that you have mastered yourself. Freedom through mastery also has a deeper layer. It gives you alignment. Too often, people live fragmented lives. They say one thing but do another. They want peace but create chaos with their moods. They want success but sabotage it with poor financial habits. They want respect but destroy it with careless words. This misalignment breeds frustration. But when you master your mouth, mood, and money, your life begins to align. Your actions match your intentions. Your habits match your goals. Your words match your values. That alignment is freedom because it removes the inner conflict that eats away at so many people. Mastery does not mean perfection. It means discipline. It means catching yourself before you slip. It means learning from mistakes and correcting them. It means living with awareness instead of autopilot. That discipline builds strength, and strength builds freedom. Freedom is not about doing whatever you want whenever you want. That's chaos disguised as liberty. Real freedom is the ability to direct yourself, to choose with clarity, to live intentionally without being dragged by impulses. At its core, mastery equals freedom because it makes you unshakable. The world can insult you, but your mouth will not betray you. Circumstances can challenge you, but your mood will not defeat you. Temptations can come, but your money will not enslave you. You become someone who cannot be easily controlled, manipulated, or broken. That is rare, that is power, and that is the kind of freedom worth pursuing. Everything in life comes down to discipline, and discipline comes down to choice. The choices you make every day with your words, your emotions, and your money determine the kind of life you build for yourself. Most people spend their lives reacting to insults, reacting to stress, reacting to financial temptations. They live like leaves blown around by the wind, never grounded, never steady, always at the mercy of external forces. But the people who rise above mediocrity, the ones who command respect, the ones who leave a lasting impact, are those who master themselves first. They know that self-control is the highest form of power, because once you control yourself, nothing outside of you can truly control you. When you think about your mouth, understand it as the bridge between your inner world and the outer world. Your words reveal your thoughts, your emotions, and your level of discipline. Speak carelessly, and people assume carelessness in everything you do. Speak with intention, and people respect your presence. Every word carries weight, whether you realize it or not. To live wisely, you must treat your mouth like a sword, sharp, deliberate, and only used when necessary. Those who can hold their tongue, those who know how to remain silent until it is time to speak, always command more respect than those who spill every thought without control. Influence comes not from the quantity of your words, but from the quality. Master your mouth, and you create opportunities that noise will never bring. Your mood is your inner battlefield. Most people lose this battle daily because they do not even realize they are fighting one. They let small inconveniences ruin their day. They allow someone's careless remark to dictate how they feel. They hand over their peace to situations and people who don't deserve that power. But peace of mind is too valuable to be given away. The strongest individuals are not those who never feel emotion, but those who feel deeply while still maintaining control. They know that anger, sadness, and frustration are natural, but acting on them impulsively creates destruction. Mastering your mood does not mean you become emotionless. It means you become unshakable. It means you can face storms and still stand tall. It means you can respond strategically when others would crumble. That control makes you a force that cannot easily be manipulated or broken. Money is perhaps the most obvious reflection of discipline, and yet it is where many people fail the hardest. Money is not just about wealth, it is about freedom. When you control it, you can walk away from anything that does not serve you. You are not chained to toxic environments because of financial fear. You are not dependent on others for survival. You gain the freedom to make choices that align with your values, not just your circumstances. But money can only serve you if you respect it. Waste it on impressing others and it will enslave you. Invest it in yourself and your future and it will liberate you. Money is a mirror. If you handle it recklessly, it exposes weakness. If you handle it wisely, it reveals strength. These three, mood and money, are not separate. They feed into one another. An undisciplined mood can make your mouth reckless. Reckless words can close doors that cost you financially. Poor money management can create stress that poisons your mood. One weak link can unravel the chain. That is why mastery must be holistic. You cannot afford to master one area while neglecting the others. Real strength comes from balance. When you can speak wisely, feel deeply, but remain steady, and manage money with discipline, you become unstoppable. You remove chaos from your life because you are no longer creating your own problems. What makes mastery so powerful is that it creates alignment. You are no longer at war with yourself. Your words, your emotions, and your actions begin to align with your values. That alignment brings peace, and peace brings focus. You stop wasting energy fixing damage caused by your own lack of control. Instead, you use that energy to build, to grow, to pursue what matters. Life becomes simpler, not because it is easier, but because you have removed unnecessary chaos. That clarity is freedom in its purest form. The world will always test you. There will always be someone trying to provoke you, a situation trying to frustrate you, or a temptation trying to pull you off course. You cannot stop the tests, but you can decide how you respond. That decision makes all the difference. Will you let your mouth, your mood, or your money betray you? Or will you hold steady, disciplined, and intentional? Every time you choose control, you strengthen yourself. Every time you choose discipline, you weaken the grip of chaos on your life. It is not easy to master these areas. It requires constant awareness, It requires humility to admit where you've been careless. It requires patience to build new habits. But the reward is worth it because the reward is freedom. Freedom to speak with influence. Freedom to live with peace. Freedom to make choices on your terms. That is a kind of wealth that no one can take away from you. In the end, success is not just about what you achieve but about who you become. If you cannot control your own words, emotions, or money, then success will slip through your hands no matter how hard you chase it. But if you learn to master these three, you will not only achieve success, you will keep it. You will build a life that is strong, stable, and unshakable. And that is the true mark of power, not dominance over others, but mastery over yourself.